Hey, 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 Facebook land. Casey Eberhart here, coming to you live from Los Angeles, California today. So it's a beautiful day out here in Los Angeles. Hey, I would love to know where you are, what's going on, checking this out. If you're watching live, click live. If you're watching it on the replay, click replay. I just like to see who's paying attention, who's on board, who isn't on board. And, you know, one of the things I can see is if you kind of are a video watcher and you like kind of participating in these lives, you'll see a little thing in the right-hand column there that says, hey, if you want to see when Casey Eberhart is going live, click yes or notifications. That's one kind of cool thing that you can do for anybody. So if you see people doing Facebook Live and you like their stuff, go ahead and just type in, click that notification button. So Tim, welcome. Appreciate you, buddy. Karen, welcome, welcome. Oh my gosh, Michelle Jones is on. Michelle, welcome. Appreciate you. I haven't talked to you guys, you and Brian, forever. So super excited to see you guys on here. So gang, we are going to have a little bit of chat. And you know what's so funny, because I thought about it as I was typing in the, oh my gosh, Brendan Elias. Dude, I am so jet lagged, it isn't even funny. For those of you that don't know, Brendan Elias is one of my good friends. And on some level, he's kind of my boss. But he's the guy that brings me over to Sydney, Australia. And we just came off of a fantastic weekend of teaching people to import from China. So if you have any interest in importing from China, connect with me. I'll connect you up with Brendan. He's absolutely phenomenal at what he does. So, hey, Tim Gillette and Ryan all the way out of Florida. Welcome. Big hugs back to you, and big hugs back to you, Brian and Michelle. So, okay, guys. So I realized as I was typing this in how hilarious and contradictive I actually have been in my post versus what I'm actually doing. So we're gonna talk to you a second. Brendan, you know what's so funny, dude? I was explaining to people today earlier on in a call about what happened Sunday night at Mary's in Newtown, and I have no idea, you guys. It was the weirdest thing. Like, the whole team's there. We're having a fantastic burger, fries, and chicken. Brendan took our whole team out after our event out in Sydney, Australia, and I don't know what happened, but at one point I was just like, oh, I got to go home. Like, I feel terrible, and like my face is dripping with sweat. I felt terrible. And poor Brendan is like, well, help me get you an Uber. I'm like walking down. I'm like, just get me in a car and get me the hell back to the hotel. So I appreciate that. And I appreciate you guys for playing along with that. So, okay. So we need to have a little chat. I think we need to have a little chat anyways. And by we, I just mean anybody that will listen, because I just had an experience happen in Facebook that I really want to talk about. From yeah, no crap. Brendan, wait till I show you the text I got from Dav. It's quite cool. So look here, let me tell you guys, I'm going to start with the premise, and then I'm going to tell you a story of what happened. So check this out, B. I'll go ahead and put the ketones touch the water. That's an inside joke for our team out in Florida, or not Florida. I'm like in Florida mode, out in wherever the hell it is, Sydney. So, okay. So let's man. So here's the thing. I have talked about this on multiple different versions. I talked to my team about it. I talked to our team about it. I talked to groups of people about it. I bring it up when I'm doing speaking presentations, and I feel like I'm talking to sometimes a brick wall. So I know this is an important topic, and I should probably do something really big on this and do an entire webinar of this. But here's the thing. Optics are everything. And the problem when you go off script, so to speak, is the problem is when you go off script and you don't remember that optics are everything, it can have a really negative multiplier effect. Sadiq, welcome, my friend. Karen's on here. Gosh, I feel like with Sadiq and Karen and I, it's like a whole reunion. It's awesome. So here's the deal. Optics are everything. And so when you post on Facebook, or quite frankly, when you write a text or you write an email, anytime you have a message going out from you or your business, please, for the love of all that's holy, remember that that message is being received and perceived by an audience. and they are going to interpret that message in their own desires, their own language, in their own ways. And then they are going to react or not, depending on that, right? So I'm going to give you two really quick stories. Number one, I flew out to Sydney this past week, and on the flight going out there and coming home, there was a problem with the catering for the meal. And on the airline going out there, the pilots actually were so mortified at the bad service that they had everybody in Sydney, when we got off the flight in Sydney, they addressed the problem. They not only did they address the problem, they said, we're going to fix the problem to the best of our ability. And here's what we're going to actually do. And they literally gave us a letter when we got off the flight in Sydney that said who to write to, and that they were giving us all points for our flight, or people to put money into a travel bank. They hit the problem dead on, because had they not addressed it, there would have been tons of Yelp reviews and bad social media reviews on them, right? So they kind of addressed it. Now, I got to say, they gave us all heaps of points for our troubles. That was a really good version of optics, right? They had a problem, they addressed it head on, and even the people that were really irritated on the flight were probably really taken care of when they saw what the company was actually going to do to kind of compensate them. Now, let me flip this to, I belong to a Facebook group, and I'm gonna talk about this. And I'm going to leave out some names, because it's for me, it's more important that you get the message or the gist than it is names. So I am part of a Facebook group for distributors. Thanks, Ryan. I'll go ahead and throw that up on the screen. Check that out. Yep. Thanks, dude. So I'm a part of a Facebook group that's designed for distributors and new distributors in a network marketing company and a network marketing opportunity, okay? And this is the official group for that company. And I participate in there, not a huge amount, but it's really designed, it's a group of all the distributors, right? And I just happened to be tagged in a post inside that group. And so I went in and I started reading. And the reason I was tagged in the group was fairly appropriate for what the thread was. But here's what happened. One of the, and I'll put it in mid-level leaders, not one of the top leaders in the company, but certainly not somebody that just started either. Somebody kind of in that middle space. And I happen to know this individual a little bit, not particularly well, but I know of this person. And what had happened was a brand new distributor, a brand new rep asked a question. Now, I've been around the company for a long time, so I knew the answer to the question. It's actually a fairly easy answer to a question. And I'd even say that the person, probably in the time that it took him to write the question, probably could have looked up and figured out the answer to the question, okay? I also am aware that group is designed for new distributors and new people joining the team and the organization. They're just being brought into the family, so to speak, right? Well, we had a B player, like not our A players and not our brand new folks, but a B, maybe B, C player, somebody that hasn't been around very long, came in and answered the question in just about the snarkiest, kind of shitty way possible. Okay. Now, I could read the text very differently and see 3 or 4 different, I probably shouldn't have said shitty on a live talking about optics, but you know, say la. I apologize. I probably shouldn't even put this video up, but it got me really fired up. So here's the deal. So he answered really snarky. Okay. Now what that ended up happening was that snarky comment showed up on Facebook in the group, and then there were literally like bam, 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 all of this back and forth with the tone getting negativer. I don't know, that's not even a word. More negative and snarkier and snarkier. And instead of him kind of taking a step back and going, okay, look, maybe I should address this. Maybe I should actually write something nice. it was doubling down, right? And again, the answer is actually something that's fairly easy. And, yeah, we have the responsibility of learning the deal. That's irrelevant. But what happened is now this guy has a really negative thing. And the bigger problem for me personally, even though this is kind of not even relevant to the story because it doesn't matter really this side, but I happen to have a brand new team member that got wrapped up in the conversation because she didn't understand the answer and she had the same question. So then she said, hey, look, this is kind of getting snarky. I'm just trying to, I'm one of the people that didn't understand this. And again, doubling down and doubling down and doubling down and doubling down. And so I say that here's the deal. The CEO has now been brought into the thread. The corporate people have been brought into the thread. And the reality is that this guy who started the negativity or the snarky answer doesn't come off looking very good. And so now what you have is you have a situation where you might have somebody that's not going to ask questions in the group. And what happens if somebody's on his team looking at that and his organization looking at that? I say all of that to say this, that when you write something on Facebook, and I don't care if it's in a group or on your wall or whatever, just take 1.5 seconds and ask yourself, especially if you're in business. If you're not in business, then this really isn't that relevant. But in business, ask yourself, if when I hit the return button on Facebook, is that going to draw people to my business or is it going to push people away? And I've said this to my mastermind group and our coaching clients all day long. You can be right or you can be rich. Pick one, right? The comment the guy wrote, he's actually right. He's right. It's a responsibility of us distributors to understand the question and the answer. He's right. On the surface, the dude is right. But here's the thing. What does that do? I will never forget this thread. And it'll be hard pressed for me to reach out and try to help this guy or anybody in his organization. Well, just this guy in particular, frankly, because I'm seeing the true colors. And in a world of business where connectivity is today's new currency, in a business model where we get paid to help people get started and train, and in the network marketing profession in general, there's a lot of negativity we got to overcome with people that are not in the profession. It really shouldn't happen with people that are in the profession and, even more importantly, in the same company or organization or team or family or whatever your business model calls for. So look, this is just a simple, quick reminder that optics are everything, you guys. They really are. Every time you post, every time you tweet, every time you do something, it sends a message out and it invites people to remessage back. And for every person that's not writing a negative comment or that's not writing a comment, there's 10, 20, 30, 50, 100 people, maybe 5,000 that are reading it, not doing, but they're formulating an opinion based on you and how you conduct yourself in an environment. Now, I realize that I'm wearing a Sriracha t-shirt. I'm not shaven. I've got a messy desk behind me. But the only excuse I can give you is, number one, I'm jet lagged. And number two, this just had me fired up because I wanted to address it real quick. So just remember, guys, optics are everything. Before you hit the return button, ask yourself, is this pulling people or is this attracting people closer to me or is it pushing people away? And you get the opportunity to be right or you can be rich. So with that, guys, have a great day. Go out there, create some amazing content, create some amazing opportunities for you to help people that are in your network be better, increase their influence, and do whatever it is you do to serve your community the best. With that, I'll talk to you guys later. I got to go take a nap.